You just keep doing the same thing and you don't push forward, you're not gonna progress in anything. It doesn't work that way. So as golfers, I think a lot of us enjoy the individual aspect of our game, but you sit and you watch other sports that are mostly team sports, whether it's football or basketball, and just the celebration and the camaraderie that those teams have, and you definitely long for it. You want to be a part of it. And so the Solheim Cup is the greatest event in women's golf.
At the LPGA, we have the best players in the world, not just the players from one country, and to be able to bring the athletes together in a team format just creates an energy and excitement like no other. I mean, golf's an amazing game. We cheer for our individual athletes throughout the course of the year, and then to have them come together at the Solheim Cup and to compete at the U.S., at the U.S. team for their flag, and then to be able to have the Europeans have such passion for their team that's had such great history, it creates an energy like nothing else.
It's unlike any other golf event we've ever played in. You can maybe compare it to a major, but a major has the big crowds, but it's very serious. Everybody's kind of stuck in what they're doing and stuck in your own ways a little bit. And Solheim Cup it's massive. I mean, and just the energy that you feel, your energy, the teammates, the excitement of it, it's so different, where we're encouraging our fans to be loud and get the crowd going instead of telling everybody to be quiet.
The atmosphere at a Solheim Cup is it's really hard to put into words. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now. It's a feeling like none other. It's something that you cannot replicate, and it's a memory that stands out above many things in my career. Just being on that first tee in that setting, wearing the red, white, and blue, it is a special, special feeling.
Truly is indescribable, and it's honestly the best feeling in the world to know that you have people there cheering your name on. You're one of 12 girls on each team, and you're playing for your country. It's an amazing feeling, and I just never want to not experience that ever again.
The Solheim Cup is really our only opportunity as professionals to get together as a team and to have that camaraderie, to be able to support one another, to be playing matches together. You're actually out there on the golf course together and trying to pick each other up and get the best out of each person, and we don't get to do it a whole lot. It's a team that every American it's on their radar. They want to make that team, and big picture, to think you're one of the 12 best golfers in this entire country, of all the millions of little girls that grow up playing the game, you're the ones that have made it to this point. I mean, it's really an honor.
Making a Solheim Cup team and just being a part of that it's an unforgettable week. It's a week that once you experience it, it makes you have even more drive to make that next team. And because it's so distinguished and it's so hard to get on, you work and you prepare for that rotation every time it comes around.
When they have this opportunity to come together as a team and compete as a team, it just provides a different environment for them. But also just the energy around the Solheim Cup is so tremendous, and it matters. And so that's why our players love to do it. They get to be on the biggest stage of the game, competing with their friends and the people that they compete with every week. So it's a really special experience.
You're playing for your teammates, you're playing for your captains and assistant captains, like you're playing for the fans. I think it means so much more when you have so much riding on it. And you always want to make your country proud.
Well, I had the great pleasure of calling Stacy to tell her that the committee, had wanted her to be the captain of the 2023 team. And before I got the words out of my mouth, she was like, "Yes."
Molly called and obviously offered the position to me, and I immediately said yes. And they're like, "Well, don't you want to talk to your family, talk to your husband first?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I should probably do that." So told Molly yes, but let me go call my parents. So obviously with my daughter and everything, I was going to need some help, and call my husband to make sure he was on board. And I couldn't even get the question out, and they were both saying yes.
I think Stacy will make a great captain because she's still playing. She's seeing us week in, week out. She knows the level of competition that it's taking for us to compete each week, and she's there to tell you great week if you've had a good week, and just the information that she's been able to give us, whether it's in a meeting or it's an email, just making sure she's staying on top of things and letting us know that there's no pressure on us. She's actually been great just in communication and even stepping away and just letting us know, hey, I'm not going to bother you coming up because I know you all want to make this team. So you're not going to hear from me. I'm keeping an eye out, but if you need anything, holler. So she's going to be a great captain for our team, no doubt.
She's also just so wonderfully organized and has so many wonderful creative thoughts and ways to celebrate the history and the past of the Solheim Cup while encouraging our players and our team to really show up and be the best version of themselves once the gun goes off in Spain.
Being in this captain role, you feel not pressure, but a lot of it is on my shoulders. It's on the decisions that you make. It's on trying to create an environment where these players can be successful. The way the players have responded to everything I've asked them to do, to just trying to make sure they're involved in this process of bringing the cup back, where, yes, that's the goal. We want to bring this cup back, but I want to make sure they have fun. This is the greatest event in women's golf. Why are we stressing ourselves out? Let's make this fun, and hopefully the result is that cup is coming home with us. I'm a very analytical person. I love numbers. I love data. Just the type of person, the more information I feel like I have, I can make a better decision, with everything, whether it's data or whether it's not. I want to get the most information I can to make the best possible decision. I needed to figure out what we were lacking, how our U.S. team could get better. And from reading some things about the Ryder Cup, I learned of all the analytics that were being used by both teams. It's been on both sides now for I believe 3 Ryder Cups now. So it's something that's been in the men's game for a long time, and so that just kind of caught my eye. Just when I always want to do things to advance our tour, and if the guys have access to this, I feel like we should have access to it as well. And so knowing what KPMG Performance Insights had provided for our tour, I approached them to see if they could help the Solheim Cup team.
Data has literally transformed our entire lives, it's disrupted entire industries, and it's changed the way that we work and live. We spend a substantial amount of time not just thinking about data and technology, but the core business problem. We spend time with people, navigating process, observing what's happening, and that allows us to help formulate technology and data analytics solutions that actually mean something to the business.
I think the LPGA was behind for a long time because the first of all, the players did not have the data that they needed to be able to analyze their game at a shot level basis, to be able to perform at their peak. And golf is a really difficult game. It requires quite a bit of analytics. It's a very subjective game too. So people need to have all the data that they can have to drive their own performance. So we were at a significant disadvantage to not have that data.
Measures the player's performance on the golf course from tee to green, all aspects of how they're playing, and puts it in balance respective to other people's play. So you can see who's playing well at what times, in what situations, what shots they excel at, and it enables the players to diagnose their performance and work on their games. It enables coaches to help them with their games. It helps fans understand who's great at which aspects of the game. So that data analytics is the underpinning of diagnosing performance and helping players to see how to improve it.
Well, the KPMG performance insights have been, from a coaching standpoint, a godsend. It's always nice to have another set of eyes on the golf course, and this is like having 30 sets of eyes on a golf course and on your player.
Now the players with this data are able to look at their game completely differently. They can figure out where they're struggling. They can figure out where they're losing strokes, where they're gaining strokes, where they need to put their emphasis in practice, how they need to be strategic about every hole. And it's allowing them, which we talk about all the time, to be able to reach their own individual peak performance. And that's what we're trying to do at the LPGA. Without this data, that's really hard to do.
Basically, it's an optimization of the potential of the players on the team, putting them in the best position to succeed, analyzing what players' strengths and weaknesses are, what players are going to succeed on certain types of holes, certain types of golf courses, how we compare players to best maximize what they're best at in terms of whether it's foursomes or four ball, being able to group players better to kind of optimize their successes.
Kind of the end of last year, we started the general introduction. Then in the spring, we would do calls about once a month, just to kind of get caught up on who's playing well, who's not.
Her reliability speaks to kind of the theories we talked about today. Like, she is a really good approach player. Her strength is gaining shots with her approaches this season.
I'd say really the last month and a half, the communication has been nonstop. We have a group text that is running all the time. It's going back and forth. They're feeding us important numbers. We're asking questions. Now it's almost seems a day doesn't go by that someone is not on that text asking a question and trying to get things figured out.
Whatever context you need at any given point, I can run that in 15 seconds and have it ready. So if you ever just thinking about it, just shoot a message over and we can do that too.
It's been a really open, free-range discussion where we all feel like, on our side, from a data partner standpoint, that we're part of the team. We're part of the team that's helping them, make decisions and put this team in the best position to win.
Bingo Courtesine is where the Solheim Cup is being played in Spain this year. The golf course itself, it's pretty short for LPGA standards. It's only 6,300 yards, so quite a few holes that the girls are going to have wedges in their hands. We've looked at what length of shots you're going to be hitting into certain holes, and it's Bermuda grass, which was one of the only golf courses in that region that's Bermuda grass. So there's actually quite a bit of scouting that can be done with the golf course and relating to the stats. Captain's picks, my big thing is I wanted their play to speak for itself. And this year it worked out that way, where I didn't really have to make a ton of picks. Angel, she was one of 2 players on the LPGA this year to finish inside the top 30 at all the majors. So obviously handles the pressure really well. She's one of our best players as well in Bermuda grass. Cheyenne Knight For a long time, she was within the top 10 of the entire tour of total strokes gained. So just overall game has been really solid. And then Allie, she's the voice in the team room, but her play, you look at her strokes gained, one of the most consistent players on our tour there. So they each kind of had their own various reasons that they made the team there, but I love how it all came together. We've moved now into the pairings part of it, and it is literally a giant jigsaw puzzle. You first kind of figure out what players' games are good for alternate shot, what players' games are best for best ball. Where can you optimize their performance based on the format that you put them in? It's creating the best 4 possible pairings per session. And so they run just these numbers, thousands of scenarios, and you see which pairings show up the most often. It's based on the golf course itself and the numbers I've given them on the golf course to who's best on approach play, who's best on driving, who's best on putting, and then how you take advantage of that on the golf course itself.
Predictive analytics are important in terms of, giving us the most information possible. By running thousands and thousands of simulations, we're able to give you the way we think the sequence is going to happen and what's the best combination that we could possibly generate in order to have the most expected points.
Some of these pairings were a little bit surprising, but some at the same time, just knowing these players, they weren't. It was more of an affirmation of what I believe and what I see is correct. And there's always a human element, even if, this is the best possible pairing we have. If those players don't want to play together, then we don't use it. We go to option 2, and that's fine. There has to be a human element to it. But if there is a really good pairing that I think will work, I'm gonna push a little bit, push them and see if I can get them to at least give it a shot. And the girls have been open to that. They've been open to my suggestions and what I believe. And, we're all learning through this process, and we've got 5 rookies this year. And so I think our veterans realize there's gonna be some different pairings. We're gonna have to try some things and figure out what works. I understood the performance insights that we had week to week, with players. I just didn't realize all that was going to be possible with the Solheim Cup. Just at times how clear it makes the picture. When you could sit there and just kind of stare at a piece of paper with all these names and say, where do I start? It's really been a great starting point of trying to help us make the best possible decisions.
You don't win the Solheim Cup with a spreadsheet. These are athletes, these are players, and ultimately we're just trying to put them in the best position to succeed. That's what our job is. They're gonna go out there and be the incredible players that they are, and that's what's gonna win the Solheim Cup. We're merely a tool in the toolbox for the captain to help put the players in the best position to succeed and get the win.
I do feel like if you just keep doing the same thing and you don't push forward, you're not gonna progress in anything. It doesn't work that way. We had to continue to evolve because our players are different now. The players are what makes them tick, and how they operate is very different than you could say probably 8 years ago. My whole goal as a captain has been to treat these girls like individuals. And the data has allowed me to do that because it's allowed me to go to them and say, hey, I like this person for you. I don't like this person for you. It's helped me create those one-on-one relationships and show them I'm not trying to treat you all the same. Everybody's different. It's really how can you optimize and how can you create that belief that they're in the best position possible to be successful.
Everything about what Stacy's brought to the table as a captain has impressed me. The way she commands a room, her willingness to be adaptable to the data, be open-minded, to be accepting of ideas and some of the stuff that we're bringing to the table, her willingness to be part of that. It speaks to her confidence in her own abilities and, how secure she is with, where she is in her career.
I can't believe we're this close already. The last year and a half has gone by so incredibly fast. I've enjoyed every aspect of this. I love how involved I've been able to be in all the decisions that have been made, and just excited to put a plan into action. good. You know, you just put out little fires here and there, and the behind the scenes stuff is almost taken care of. And now it's just finalizing those pairings, because, you know, we're, I guess, a day away from having those pairings in for Friday. So I feel really good about where we're at.
Stacy, just a couple of things. One, how much are you using analytics, if at all, in regards to your picks and in regards to your pairings?
A lot. Analytics are a huge part of what we're doing, and it's helped justify things to me in my head, and it's helped justify things with the players as well.
When Stacy calls me and tells me that my make percentage is whatever, I'm like, yeah, great. Like my up and down rate is, he's like, Danielle, your percentage of whatever, and then she gives me the stats, and I go, numbers don't lie, man. 1 + 1 = 2. I love it. Just keep telling me my stats. So I personally like it, and I can really trust numbers and factual things on that. So I really appreciated that statistics coming in.
I think another thing that's going to be really key is that we've got our data analysts here for KPMG Performance Insights tracking each group, walking with each group each day. And they did in the practice rounds as well. So we were able to give some strong, data on some of the ball striking that the players were doing in the practice rounds. But we're going to have all the players' matches tracked live throughout the week, and the data is going to come back into the U.S. team room. We're going to be able to analyze those matches better than anyone's ever been able to do before.
Stacy's been very prepared, and the thing that I have a tremendous amount of respect for her in one of the areas is she came in with a plan. Before we got here, we had a pretty good idea of who we wanted to play together, and it's playing out where the numbers are matching the players. So I think that's been really cool. Like, their numbers are matching this course.
She's done her research unlike any other captain. I have loved all my past captains, don't get me wrong, but Stacy has done a lot of work with statistics, and I think she really knows what she's doing coming into the week. But I've played so much golf with her, so I didn't really expect anything different.
I want to see some grit. You're going to see a bad bounce, you're going to see a funky bounce, you're going to lose a hole, but let's go enjoy this. I want them to show the world the toughness that we have, and that's going to be my last message to them, and because I think that's what wins match play.
The sun is rising on another Solheim Cup as this great spectacle in women's golf commences yet again for the very first time in Spain.
This golf course is kind of lopsided in how it sets up for foursomes. If you tee off on the odds, you're going to have a lot of the putts. If you tee off on the evens, you're going to have a lot of the approach shots. It's going to be fascinating to see how and who is going to play that first tee shot.
Oh yeah, that's DK walking it in for birdie. Oh, she pulled it back.
This morning was a massive validation of all the work we've put in for the last year and a half of trying to learn who these girls are and how they play golf, and just the theory of how we're pairing them up and how we're putting them together. It's just massive validation.
What a shot.
We were really bullish all along on the pairing of Allie Ewing and Cheyenne Knight. They both played excellent, Allie especially, and they got off to a big lead and went and ran away from their match. We were really bullish on Andrea Lee's approach play coming into the Solheim Cup, and she was excellent in her match, so really great to see that. Some of the clutch shots that Nellie hit down the stretch were excellent. We won a really hard-fought match against Leona McGuire and Anna Nordquist, so brilliant stuff out of the team so far to get the first foursome sweep in the history of the U.S. Solheim Cup team.
Flawless. The Americans go 4-0 in foursomes. First time the U.S. has ever swept a foursome session. Just the second time either team has done it.
So here we go. The afternoon four ball just about set to go, and the U.S. with a commanding lead, 4-0 over Europe here in Finca Cortesine. And does carry it. Wow. Got it there. What a putt. Terrific.
Overall, our players in the afternoon gained nearly 15 strokes on the expected field. Jennifer Kupcho came out and was just making everything she looked at. Allison Corpuz continues to just hit unbelievable approach shots. I think she gained more than 3 strokes with her approach shots alone, which is a huge number. Just really buoyed by everyone's performances. 6 of our 8 players had positive strokes gained total in their match. They just, ran into a European team that had their backs against the wall.
They have been in control since the start. Bank right there, as so many have. Oh, look at this one.
It doesn't. Does
Got
it?
a chance. Yes.
Hook does.
Second ace in Solheim Cup history.
To have 3 of those matches go to 18 and get halves out of 2 of them, I mean, the halves were massive for us today.
Never give in, Allison Corpuz. Clutch.
I love the fight. Literally a chip in and a hole in one for probably being 6'2".
Come on, Come on, wow.
That would be 3 hole outs on the back 9 for the Europeans.
Incredible.
When you add up the day, we had a 2-point lead. If you had told me that last night, I'd have been so happy, So I'm happy with the day. We forced the Europeans' hand a little bit. They had to put some really good pairings out this afternoon because we got off to a hot start. So, in turn, how does that affect them tomorrow? So we'll see how that plays out.
Day 2 of the 18th Solheim Cup. The United States leading 5-3 after day 1, and we're back in the same format for today. So we can go down to the first tee now to get the matches underway for day 2.
This team right here has been too tough today.
Put a point on the board for Europe.
Rising to the occasion. Both these 2 rookie Swedish players.
We were down in most of those matches, most of the morning, so to come out 2-2 was really good for us.
So the U.S. putting a point on the board. Lexi Thompson and Megan Kane over Leona Maguire and Anna Nordquist.
Lexi, Megan, they're just gritty. They were just gritty the last 2 days. They fought it out. And that really was a big point for us in the morning to keep that lead.
2 putts to win the match. But why not throw it in for extra emphasis? They have cruised around this golf course, made it look real easy today.
Obviously the Nellie Allison one, I think we found something there. They were running all cylinders. They were just cruising.
What we have in Nellie is one of the most brilliant drivers of the golf ball, whether it's the men or the women. She's, absolutely out of this world when it comes to that. Pair her with an excellent approach player like Allison, have Nellie hit the most important drives, have Allison hit the most important approach shots, and Allison Corpuz has led our team in strokes gained approach throughout most of this week. So they've been a great combination. We've had them circled for months, and it's been really cool to see that come to fruition this week through the first couple of days.
Our players now, I think they fit alternate shot a little bit better, maybe even than best ball. Just excited about the future of it and how much it really changed things for us this week.
Foursome session is done on day 2, and the Americans up 7-5. And Stacy Lewis, what a brilliant job she has done preparing for these matches. And Suzanne Pedersen, there's fire there, there's motivation on the other side to try to trigger a comeback here as they are down 2. Oh, what putt.
What a
Good
putt.
putt. Jeez, great putt.
Man. Wow, they just keep birdieing every hole. Danielle Kang, Lilia Vu have made 7 birdies in their first 8 holes, and they trail in the match.
The girls that played, I think we had almost 30 strokes gained total this afternoon. I mean, they played so good, and those matches were 8-9 under par, and they're losing. You know, I mean, so it was more. You know, I know it was tough on the girls to just lose those matches that way, but for us, I mean, I just try to hound on these girls. You know, show them the stats, show them the numbers that they're playing well.
Angel Yin was exceptional. Her putting was just well beyond what we expected coming into the week. Her approach play was great. Danielle Kang continues to play incredible golf. Her approach play numbers are awesome. So are her putting numbers. You just really feel confident about every player went out there today.
And the Solheim Cup is tied at 8 points apiece, heading to the Sunday singles. It's going to be a thriller tomorrow.
Now it comes down to who shows up, what players handle the pressure the best. But it's Solheim Cups are going to be like this going forward. They're all going to be tight. They're all going to be close. These girls are so good. But we just got to go win one more match tomorrow.
USA all the way!
After 2 days of team play, they are all tied. It is Europe 8, the USA 8. It all comes down to 12 individual head-to-head matchups.
In singles, you don't really know what's going to happen. It's all about you put a lineup out there and you hope it works. And we got off to a great start. Had a ton of red on the board early, which was pretty cool to see.
Each of the first 2 matches getting wins at the opening hole.
I wanted to be on that first hole to make sure I at least saw everybody once throughout that day. And then also just to be there to help on that first tee, because I think it was a key part to the day. Especially by that time that last group tees off, that first match is already on the back 9, so the day really happens pretty quickly.
A win for Leona Maguire and a big win over Rose Zhang.
First point of the day on the board for the U.S. So it's a win for Danielle Kang. And just like that, another point on the board for the U.S.
That is a point for Anna Norquist, and we are tied up overall 10-10.
It's the best drama in golf, the singles of the Solheim Cup, where you can, the outcome of the whole team is dependent. It looks like it's going one way, and then it dramatically shifts to another direction, and the whole time you're doing math. Like, we get this, and this. This one looks good. Don't know about that match. Just trying to add up to 14 and a half.
You're kind of following the day and trying to figure out what it's going to come down to, what are the key matches, and kind of when we hit that midway point, I had in my head that Angel's match was going to be important.
Big putt for Angel Yin. Came back to tie it, take the lead. Celine Boutier won the 15th, but back 1 up for the U.S.
I honestly felt like at the time, if we could get a full point out of Angel, I thought we had it wrapped up.
Angel Yin, 2-1 for the week, with the big singles point for the United States.
Headwall with the win. Another point on the board for Europe. They are 2 points away now from retaining the Solheim Cup.
And it is a win for Maya Stark And the Solheim Cup is all tied up with 2 matches left out on the golf course.
As the whole week was, I think we all kind of figured it was going to come down to those last couple of matches. And that moment on 16 and 17 for Carlotta, I mean, is probably the moment of her career.
Inside of Nelly Corda's approach. Talk about meeting the moment. Carlota Segunda takes the lead again.
Oh, it's a wonderful shot. It's fantastic on home soil for Segunda. 14 points Europe need to keep the cup on home soil, and Segunda in Spain with one of the best shots of her life.
And that's what this event is about. And you had a feeling all week, you know, it probably was going to come down to her at some point. As a competitor and as a friend, you know, just in awe of the moment for her and what that means for her in her career.
And it's a magical moment for Carlota Segunda. The Solheim Cup will remain in Europe. And she does make it, and it is a win for Lexi Thompson. And the Solheim Cup will end in a tie for the very first time.
Well, I had them crying and laughing, and that was not my intention. They were all mad at me that I made them cry. I just want to tell them how proud I was of them, how they handled themselves. I felt like they played well. They had such a great week. I wanted them walking back to that team room with their heads up, with their chins up, like they should have been proud of themselves.
I was fun until that speech.
I told our assistants afterwards, you know, everybody was pretty bummed, you know, we didn't win. I said, we won. Like, these girls had an unbelievable time. It was so cool to see them come together as a group. And yeah, they were disappointed on Sunday, but they were still, like, they were happy. You know, they weren't, you know, just, this is the end of the world. You know, they were happy, they had fun. Just to see them come together as a group, I mean, that was the icing on the cake for me. That was all the work. That was all the little details. All the time of, you know, that I spent to get to know them, to figure out how I can help them, to figure out what makes them tick. You know, they have no idea, but it was a success. The performance insights, it worked. I think that's first and foremost. It was a lot of work to get to the point to where we got to. And it also took a lot of trust and faith, because there were definitely times throughout the week that you're unsure of whether things are going to work or not. You know, you get doubted in the media when your pairings get sent out. You know, there's a lot of times that you could kind of go, that you could have doubted what we were working on. But, you know, I had faith in it. I believed in it. And that first session on Friday morning was just kind of the icing on the cake. It was like, okay, this is the blueprint, and we got to just keep moving forward from here.
There's so many monumental benefits to having something like KPMG Performance Insights. And I think initially, when we started the program, I looked at it more from a storytelling perspective and a broadcast perspective. But to see it used in a strategic way for Team USA was just so fulfilling. Taking that same kind of thread of information and bringing it to Captain Lewis and letting her, you know, use some of the insights, some of the strategies based on all this work that's been done, collecting the data, turning it into actionable information, and then implementing a really good strategy for the Solheim Cup.
It's something that had never been previously available in the women's game. I'm so proud to be just a very small part of implementing and bringing something to light that had never been previously available.
I believe in the numbers. I believe in the stats. It was like a giant jigsaw puzzle of trying to figure out who was going to play where, and then everything changes, you know, come the week of, because maybe somebody's not playing as well, or they don't feel good, or whatever it is. So the players did a great job of adapting, and, you know, just anything I threw at them, they were able to make it work.
I know people like to, you know, decide on the process on whether we win or lose, but without Stacy's process, I think we could have gotten crushed, because she gave us the best opportunity and best chance and percentages to go up against what they brought. And if we have to shoot 10 under to go up against Carlota Seganda, we did. And if we lost, that's okay. Same thing with Lynn Grant, same thing with Maya Stark. Like, she put us up together with the probabilities and gave us the best chance to go up against them. So both teams played their hearts out, and I hope that we keep the process for 2024.
We came over here with 5 rookies, and they did not beat us. You know, we're as close as we've ever been, and they only get the cup for a year.